Welcome to the next one. It's really exciting because I like to show you how to create remote actions in Alice. And the remote actions are the most exciting feature of Alice. And this is why we've created Alice in the first place, because now she helps us to run thousands of our remote automations that we have on Make or Zapier. And I'm going to show you how to create just that. Well, you have to acknowledge that this might seem a little bit technical. However, if you follow step-by-step instructions, you'll see that it's not only easy, but it also gives you a lot of opportunities for yourself to create and adjust to your own workflow. Well, let us first create a super simple remote action. I'm going to press Command K, and then I can go to either settings or snippets or straight to the new snippets. Well, let's go to snippets. What I need to do is just create a new snippet. The snippet is a pre-built prompt in Alice, and it's going to have a name. Let's give it the name test. Not so sophisticated, but let's test it out first. It's going to be activated. The category is, let's say, automations. And now I'm going to select the model. Well, this is quite important because the models that we've tested automations with are the ones with 1106. So if you want to create something more sophisticated, you will be willing to use GPT-4, 1106. And if you have something easier to do, maybe 3.5 Turbo will be just as good. So you're going to select either one of those. Of course, you can create any other model you want, but I don't guarantee it will work perfectly. If you have any troubles with some other models, then just please try to default to 1106 and then debug it, okay? So here is the icon that we won't change, but we're gonna change our main prompt. This is the most important part, and here I'm gonna paste something like a template. So the template says, as your manager, I'm gonna always write back with valid JSON object, which values will be extracted from the conversation, so it might be used to interact with APIs of some apps. So as you might imagine, XXX, we have to exchange into some valuable data. The hard rules are like this, and I can add some more rules. And also the JSON format structure is like this. I am forbidden to return anything else but JSON, and I always use this format. Never mind what you say conversation suggests. Okay, even if this doesn't make any sense for you right now, don't worry, because I'll show you that in an example and I bet you'll get it. But the thing that is most important for now is that automations that we're going to create, they kind of need some structured data. And this structured data is indeed this JSON format. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask Alice to turn unstructured data, like the message that we'll send to her, to structured data that can be understood by an automation. You're going to see in a second that it's fairly easy. So let's say we're going to create a Slack manager, and we're going to interact with an API of your Slack app. And the rules would be as follows. Create a message to be sent to Slack or on Slack. And then the JSON format structure will be message. And I just made it up. I could put anything in here, but here is message. And here we're going to say extracted message or message to be sent. And also this underscores, I made it up. You can just put whatever you want, but it has to make sense so that Alice can make sense that the message that I'm going to send on chat is this message to be inserted in this quotes, and it's going to be sent in JSON format, okay? Now, in order to run the automation, we're going to set JSON mode to on, and you always do it when you create remote actions within Alice. JSON mode just helps it a little bit to format and structure the response, the message as we would like to. And then also this is a remote action. This is the most important thing that we need to check right now, because this remote action will allow us to actually use webhooks and send this data to a specific URL. That means that we're going to send it to our automation. Don't worry if you don't understand it just yet. I'm going to reorganize the windows and open Safari. And in Safari, I'm on make.com website. So this is a really nice provider of the automation scenarios that we can create. You might know if this then that, or for example, Zapier. And also in Zapier, you can create webhooks like this and you can run scenarios because it's very similar. It's basically the same. But Make has a lot of different options and a nice UI. So I do recommend you to just create a free account on make.com and then click on the button Create New Scenario. Once you do it, you'll be in the create new scenario window and you can click on this first bubble. If you start typing in webhooks here in the search, you're going to select webhook app and then create a custom webhook. So this is pretty important, so that you select this custom webhook. And you probably don't have any webhooks just of yet, so you're going to add a new webhook. And I'm going to give it a name, so Ali's test webhook. And I'm going to click save. Now I do have this webhook address. I'm going to copy this address to the clipboard and paste it in here in the webhook URL in Alice. So this is the address that is going to take my data. So Alice is going to send data to this address. And thanks to that, this automation is going to get this data and will be able to process it. Okay, so I said okay here. And then I save changes to my test snippet with the automation, okay? So I save those changes. I also go to assistants and I make sure that Amy or some other assistants of mine at the very bottom has access to this test snippet. So I have to enable it for the assistants that I want to use the snippet in. And let me just create a new conversation with Amy. And I'm going to start with / and then select test from the automations. So now I'm running this snippet. Also, I want to see the data coming live in here in this scenario. So in order to do that, I just click run once, and now this automation is running and waiting for my data. So I can get back to Alice. I'm within the snippet and I type, for example, hello world. And then I press return. And this means it's going to be sent to a snippet. Now I have this action was performed, but no response was received. And that's correct. But actually the automation finished and I have little one data bubble here. So if I click on this bubble, I can see that the message hello world was properly formatted and was sent to this automation. However, this is in the format that this automation now understands, and I'll be able to take this message and every time do something with the content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Slack app, but imagine that you can use any app that you have here. There are thousands of apps. So you can, for example, send a new email. You can add contact to CRM. You can create a new website, create new campaign from whatever service that can be delivered here. If I select Slack and I select create a message here, I'm going to use one of my Slack connections, and please use the existing connection. And if you don't have any, if you have a new account, just add the connection. So it will let you authorize within the Slack app, and then the connection will be here forever, and you'll be able to use it. Select from the list. I'm going to select the channel, maybe not post it publicly. Let's select the private message. So I am channel, and for the user, I'm going to take myself, and I'm going to send the message to myself on Slack. Come on. And this means that I'll be able to provide the text of this message and have this very text that was received by this webhook. So I click on this message here and I don't need anything else. I just press OK, then save it and then run it once again. And I'm just going to say test, okay, to Alice and see what happens with this data. Now the message was received, and also I received the message test. I've sent it to Slack. And I created the message in Slack that says, basically, it should say test. And on my Slack account, I do have this test. Okay. So now I've communicated with Slack easily, but I have the information that no response was received. And now let's fix that. I'm going to create a new module, and this is a webhook and a webhook response. What we can do is we can respond to a 200 status. 200 means that everything went fine. So if everything went fine, I want to create the body, and inside of the body, I'm going to create a JSON structure. So again, we have this curly braces, and inside we're going to have data in quotes, and then we have another quotes. And this is the structure that you want to follow every time. But in the following quotes, you can type in whatever you want. So for example, message has been sent. And as you can see, you can even just take this message and call it out here, but I don't want to do it now. So just let's run it. And I'm going to just do, hey, and see what happens as a response, because I should get a response message has been sent. And I do indeed on Slack. I obviously have this hey message and everything went fine here. So this is how you use remote actions in Alice. And this is a very straightforward one and probably useless because you won't use Alice to send Slack messages probably. But what you can do inside of this automation is use, like I said, whatever application you want, like to-do app, like Notion, like Gmail, and you can create multiple scenarios in which Alice will be transforming the data that you put as a message and creating a formal JSON structure that can be received by an automation that then makes something out of it. And this is really powerful concept because, as you can imagine, Make and also Zapier, which you can use the very same way because Zapier also offers webhooks, those apps, they are connected to thousands of apps that you use daily. So now all you have to do is just turn the automation on. If I click scheduling, it will be turned on. And I can forget that this automation is running in the background. All the time I'm going to use anything here. This automation will run in the background and I'm going to get the response and I'm going to get Slack message simultaneously. So yeah, this is like a super simple example, but I just wanted to show you how to connect those dots, how to create your first remote action in Alice. And we're going to dig a lot deeper in that and we're going to create custom automations. What I want to do is just encourage you to try it out because you'll see that even though probably many things were new to you, like JSON format and this Make app, maybe creating webhooks and responses and all of that, and it might seem like a very technical thing, but in fact it's not. It's just a no-code app that will let you get the data and then send it to anywhere you want them, and also create actions that will drive your software, that will create some events in your calendar, that will maybe reply to your emails and do whatever you want with whatever software you have. So thanks to this is very versatile. At this very moment, we don't have native integrations in Alice. It means that you cannot connect your Google account and just like say, create a meeting or schedule something in my calendar. But instead, you have this gateway via remote actions to connect to automations and then connect to whatever app you literally want. For example, I'm going to put here email and show you one more very simple automation. This automation lets me find emails. Let me show you how it looks. It's very same like we did with Slack, but instead of Slack module, there is Hunter module that can find any email or most of the emails that I want. And all I need to do is say Satya Nadella, for example, from Microsoft. I don't even know if I spelled the name correctly. However, what I'm going to get is from Hunter, I'm going to get this email address. That is probably correct. I mean, at least it's returned by this service. You can have Clearbit here. You can have HubSpot or whatever service you want to, for example, enrich some data and return you some more information about persons that you try to find, or literally do whatever you want. Those are very simple scenarios that I'm showing you right now. However, we do have like extremely complicated scenarios as well, and probably those ones I'm going to show you a bit later. So I hope you experiment with remote actions in Alice. It's really, really powerful. It might take you some time at the beginning to set up those automations, but once you have them, you see that it's really, really great for your productivity. Thanks for now, and I'll see you in the next one.